Good morning, Manitoba. I am Larry McIntosh, and I'll be your host for the next hour and every Saturday morning from 8 to 9. Thanks for tuning in. Did you know that each Food and Friends radio show is filmed and will be posted at MyToba.com later this weekend? If you want to see the TV version of this show or previous shows, please visit MyToba.ca. Thanks to 680 CJOB's Nicole, who produces our show, and Chad, who operates the camera, as well as the teachers of the Broadcasting and Media Arts program at TechVoc High School. You can also listen to an audio podcast of Food and Friends at SoundCloud.com or at the iTunes Store. Again, please do a search for Food and Friends with Larry at MyToba.ca or SoundClouds.com or the iTunes Store, and all the shows will come up for your listening or viewing pleasure. It is important for me to mention that Food and Friends is only available because of 680 CJOB and its advertisers. So please make sure you tune in to 680 CJOB or listen live at cjob.com. My guest this morning is Floyd Perras, Executive Director of Siloam Mission. Good morning, Floyd.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Actually, I'm really good.
Did you know you were going to be on TV as well?
I did not know that, but I might have combed my hair if I had known.
Then I'd have to start doing that. I'd get crazy. So busy at Siloam Mission. I mean, you're in the news all the time. You're doing lots of things, but maybe for someone that isn't aware of it, what do you do?
Well, I think the very first thing we do is we serve lots of food. Last year, we served over 420,000 meals.
Wow.
And that was up significantly from the previous year, and then this year it's already growing again. So we serve meals. We connect people into our shelter. We have a 110-bed shelter. We have a full health center with doctors, nurses, podiatrists, optometrists, foot care people, and we take care of people that way. We also have employment programs where people will actually be employed to help clean the streets, but also go through career planning, and we connect them with employers. And then one of the other things that's over in the Wolseley area is we have supportive housing. So we have 85 units of supportive housing that we've had since 2011. And I think we had 110 people live there last year, and been very successful recently. We'll save one of the new programs for a little bit later, but that gives you a general idea. Lots of people, 500 people that will come through on a busy day for each meal, and so it's a very busy place.
So the mission, how long has it been there?
We're 27 years old. Okay. We've been over on Princess Street now since 2005 has opened. Okay. It has. I was looking back doing our annual report the last week or two, and in 2010 we were at 230,000 meals, and now we're over 400,000 meals a year. Tremendous growth in the need and support of people, and of course we're very blessed with people like Peak of the Market that support us, and food and others, and we've been able to provide so much in helping people get out of their hardships, but also move forward in their lives.
So the people you serve food to, would they be homeless people? Is that entirely the case? Or?
Well, we probably about 50% of our folks that come in the door each day would be considered absolutely homeless or in shelters. About 50% of them are people that are living in the old hotels in the area that are using nearly all their social assistance on their rent, and so they depend on us for food and clothing and some of those basic needs. There's also, in the last year or two, more and more working poor that will come for meals. So at the end of the day, when they're working minimum wage, if they're choosing between paying their rent or taking a meal, they come to us for a meal. And we don't necessarily see them 3 meals a day, but often for supper or breakfast.
So an organization like Winnipeg Harvest and yourselves, would you work together? I mean, you're do different functions, but you're both helping out those less fortunate than ourselves.
Well, that's right. And Winnipeg Harvest provides hampers and employment training, and a lot of the same things that we would provide as well. Our specific folks are those that are on the edge of homelessness all the time. Winnipeg Harvest would mostly deal with people in poverty and trying to keep them in their housing instead of them losing their housing, and so. And Winnipeg Harvest is generous to us as well. We get emergency hampers, so people will sign up for emergency hampers, and we'll actually deliver them out of Siloam. We get them from Winnipeg Harvest, and then we deliver them out as well. Plus, Winnipeg Harvest also gives us some of our food that we use in our meal program every day.
And I know I've said this when you were on the show a year or two ago. We're very fortunate to have an organization like yours and many others in our community that take care of the people that have hit a bump in the road, whatever you want to say, for whatever reason it's happened. But thank goodness there's organizations like yours out there helping.
Well, it's a privilege to work in Winnipeg. I probably say this every year. Winnipeg and Manitoba is the most generous province in the country. You know, statistics have shown it year in, year out. Is per capita they give the most. This last year we had over 8,000 volunteers that come. That's not 8,000 visits, but 8,000 different volunteers that came. So it's really become a community-owned and community-participated in organization. And it feels good every day coming to work and seeing those volunteers putting the toast on the toasting machine, or working in the health center as a professional, or even in our donor care offices where they're calling donors and thanking people, and really basically supporting every aspect of the organization.
We'll be right back with Floyd Perras, Executive Director of Siloam Mission, after we take this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. It's hard to believe, but the kids have been back to school for just over 3 weeks now. Now, I'm sure you know that it's fundraising season, because that's certainly begun at most schools and daycares. For all of you involved in a school or daycare fundraising in some way, I just wanted to tell you about the Farm to School Manitoba fundraiser. This fundraiser is open to all Manitoba schools, public or private, K-12, and all licensed daycares anywhere in the province of Manitoba. Basically, the fundraiser works like this. The students sell bundles of Manitoba-grown vegetables to raise money for their school or daycare. It could be to raise money for a school trip, sports tournament, new equipment, whatever it might be. Bundle A has carrots, cooking onions, and red potatoes and sells for $10. Bundle B has larger packs of carrots, red potatoes, and cooking onions, as well as green cabbage and parsnips, and it sells for $20. The great thing about this fundraiser is that schools or daycares keep half the selling price. It's a 50% profit, and that's great for a fundraiser. Last year, this fundraiser raised $400,000 for Manitoba schools and daycares. Think about it. $400,000 were kept by the schools and daycares by doing this veggie fundraiser. The fundraiser runs from now until December 12th and is open to any school or daycare anywhere in the province of Manitoba. And our growers will deliver to any school or daycare, whether it's by truck, by train, or to fly it into communities. So it covers the entire province. And if you don't have a child participating, when someone comes to your door and asks you to buy a farm to school bundle, you can think about that as well. If you're interested in getting more information on the Farm to School fundraiser, or to register your school or daycare, please visit their website at farmtoschoolmanitoba.ca. That's farmtoschoolmanitoba.ca, or there's a link from our website at peakmarket.com. We're back with Floyd Perras, Executive Director of Siloam Mission. So we were talking off air about lots of things happening and how great our community is, but so many people want to help out organizations such as yourself and doing fundraising or food drives or whatever. How do you handle that? It's great that they're generous, but that's got to take a lot of time, I would think.
Well, and it's sometimes a challenge to try to support all of those kinds of things. The third-party events
Right.
do raise a lot of money and support for us, which we're very appreciative. Sometimes they're out of the box, and that's exciting. But sometimes trying to figure that out, how that all fits together, is sometimes very challenging. And but that doesn't mean we don't want those. But sometimes it takes a little while for us to figure out how to participate and support those groups as well as we can.
And I'm sure there's some groups that just want to raise money or raise food for you, and it doesn't take a lot of involvement. Others want lots of involvement. And And you don't want to discourage that. I get that. I'm not saying that all, but at the same time, you still have your mission of all the other things you're doing as well.
Well, and as we were talking, we're basically owned by the community in some sense, by volunteers, by our donors that participate, and it takes energy and time. And I suppose if we could probably do it a different way, but it wouldn't have the same impact on the people we serve. When volunteers serve food, our folks that come for help look at those volunteers a little differently than they look at the staff, because it's like there's no they can't say, well, you're just here because you're paid or anything like that.
Sure.
Even though our staff are compassionate, wonderful people, you can easily get into those kinds of mindsets. And when the donors are coming with their bags of clothes and food to the door and stuff like that, and I think generosity as a philosophy just changes the world just in that. Just the fact that you're generous and you you go out of your way to contribute to somebody else will change lives. And so, as much as we often depend on government to do things, it doesn't necessarily feel as generous as it is for people that have taken time to go through their closet and pick out clothing that might be appropriate for people, or go through their pantry, or go to the grocery store and buy stuff and bring it down. To me, there is significant more meaning in that than for people to receive that. I certainly know when somebody has given me a birthday card or something like that, when they've written some special stuff on it, other than just going to the drugstore and picking out any old card and just putting their name at the bottom. People appreciate that investment of time and value in personally making a difference.
And I've probably over the last year talked to literally dozens of people that have volunteered at your place, and a lot of them serving food. I think that's problem. And they feel like they're helping people because they are, but they also tend to take a step back and reflect on their own lives and how fortunate they are, because we're all busy, and you're with electronics, you're doing emails and texts, and it's very busy lives people lead. And you don't always take a step back and go, you know what, you're fortunate with what you have and the life you lead and the material things you have, but the fact that you have food on the table.
Well, and the last week we did the CEO sleep out, so right. It was and although we certainly don't experience the harsh realities. We're out for a night and we kind of get good and tired, and we're getting a little grumpy, and we're getting a little whatever, and all of a sudden we're thinking, boy, if I didn't have a home to go home to and sleep to this morning, that would be hard. And so when people do get involved, they begin to look at things very differently, and I think that's what makes us strong, makes us positive. And tolerant too. We sometimes we can get intolerant because we just don't understand, or we've never felt that, or we don't know anybody that's experienced that. But often people that come to us, volunteer or donors, they will often say, I have a friend, a family member that's been in this, and that's why I'm here.
We'll be right back with Floyd Perras after this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. It's time for our recipe segment called Now We're Cooking. You don't need to write this recipe down, as it's today's recipe of the day at peakmarket.com and in the Winnipeg Sun. Today's recipe is wild rice and cranberry salad. Wild rice and cranberry salad. And here's what you need for the recipe. 2 cups of wild rice, 3 cups of chicken stock, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of dried cranberries, 1 cup of boiling water, 2 cups of leftover smoked or roasted turkey cut into small chunks, 2 heads of Belgian endive cut crosswise into small pieces, and 4 green onions chopped. For the citrus vinaigrette, you need 2 tablespoons of red white vinegar, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, half a teaspoon of grated orange zest, 3/4 teaspoons of salt, and one half a teaspoon, I should say, of black pepper, and 6 teaspoons of olive oil. And you can see why we put it on the website. A lot of information here. Rinse the rice thoroughly under cold water and drain well. And then in a medium pot, combine the rice, stock, and salt. Then add enough water to cover the rice by about 2 inches and bring it to a boil over a moderate heat. Cover and reduce the heat and cook at a gentle boil until the rice is tender, then let it cool. In a small bowl, add the cranberries and boiling water. Let them soak until softened, which will be about 10 minutes. Drain and let cool. In a large bowl, combine the rice, cranberries, turkey, lettuce, and onion, and then add the vinaigrette and toss. And for all the vinaigrette information, just check out the website, and this recipe serves 4. We'll be right back with Floyd Perras, Executive Director of Siloam Mission, after we take this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. We have lots of Manitoba-grown vegetables available at your store right now. So this afternoon, this morning, run down to your store, buy some vegetables. But here's a quick Manitoba-grown crop update of what's available right in your stores today. Beets, broccoli, corn, kale, leeks, cauliflower, parsnips, carrots, green, red, and Savoy cabbage, red onions and cooking onions, shallots, pumpkins, green acorn squash and some other winter squashes as well, red, russet, and yellow potatoes. That's all available right now. Now, corn's coming to an end. Corn on the cob's coming to an end, so you might want to get that soon. And I'm predicting a bit of a shortage of pumpkins this year, so you might want to get your pumpkins earlier versus later. I certainly know our growers have a small crop because it was very wet and not that warm this summer, so their crop is small. But I understand Michigan and a whole bunch of places have a shortage of pumpkins this year, so you might want to get your pumpkin for carving soon. Coming off the fields next week, we have red, white, and yellow pearl onions, which is great. And also something brand new for Peak of the Market. It's called Peak of the Market's Red Yellows. The Red Yellows name is a brand new brand name for us. It's Peak of the Market Red Yellows. But these are potatoes that have a red skin and a yellow flesh. So they're starting to be harvested next week. Now, look for the Sesame Street Red Yellows potato bag with these characters on it. Big Bird's on the front and Elmo's on the back. So you get that? Big Bird's yellow, Elmo's red. So they're going to be on the bag. So the perfect Sesame Street characters for our new red yellow potatoes. And they'll be available in the store shortly. And as always, if it says Peak of the Market on the label, you're guaranteed is grown right here in Manitoba. We're back with Floyd Perras, Executive Director of Siloam Mission. So you were mentioning in the last half hour about some new program that's coming up. So you were kind of teasing us a little bit. What's that about?
Well, this last year we actually started what we call Exit Up, and it's for young people coming out of the child welfare system who really at the age of 18 get kind of put out. And many of them will head back to very dysfunctional family situations because they had been taken from their families. They end up in gangs, end up in prison, end up in prostitution, a variety of those kinds of situations. And then wander the wilderness or go through all of that for about 10 years, and then they come to Siloam Mission. And so we said, why wouldn't we try to work with those young kids, and anybody's a young kid to me these days, before they lose their capacity to work and their capacity to continue to learn and those kinds of things. So we did a pilot project for some young people, and we have 3 people now living at the Madison, our supportive housing, and they kind of joined us just before the summer. And over the summer, we worked on their goals and all of those kinds of things and where they're going. And all 3 of them have started at Winnipeg Technical School. Oh. And so I'm just doing high fives because that's 3 young people that, it's not like we're taking all the, the high performers and all of that kind of stuff, and it's, we're taking kids that really have nowhere else to go, and are ready to make a choice kind of between, some of the addictive lifestyles or those kinds of things, or maybe working on their own life. And so, very excited, very thrilling to kind of make it, to kind of prevent them from, ending up in a place where some of their dreams are just not there anymore.
Yeah. And you're making a difference in their lives and their kids' lives and their families' lives, and it's
and breaking that cycle if we can, and so we have room for 8. We're anticipating as this goes, it's going to continue to be successful. In our new development where we're our big project downtown that we're planning to build, we would hope for 25% of the 160 units could be for those young people.
oh, well.
That none. Maybe when you and I were 18, we were independent enough to go off and do what we do these days. But today, it seems like 18-year-olds are now the old 30-year-olds. So very few 18-year-olds have the maturity and without supports to make it in this world. And I guess we're really thankful that we have an opportunity to step in and let them move forward.
And every day you're helping people, whether it's meals or you're talking earlier about dental care and medical and foot doctors or whatever they're called. I'm sure that's not the right name. But and that's your basic day-to-day. But you're seeing success stories as far as changing people's lives. And this is an example. Yeah. I'm sure you're seeing others as well.
Well, and one of the exciting things that we've managed to see, one of our longest-serving residents in our shelter had been there 7 years. Just got his own place, and you may wonder why that took 7 years. But some of our folks are very difficult, and challenging, and afraid, and but just this last month we managed to get that person supportive housing, and they've moved in. Still wearing his backpack everywhere he goes because he's been doing that for so many years. But and so some of these folks you kind of can get to a place where you've given up hope. But it just goes to show that if you're persistent and you continue to care and you continue to work with people, their life is changing even though you may not see it changing. And they and the positive part is when they're able to start giving that to some of their peers, some of that support. So over in the Madison, in the supportive housing, yes, we have caseworkers and we have counselors and we have other things, but it's really about the community of them living together that strengthens them. So their peers will support them and keep them accountable and help them when they're down and talk to them at midnight when they're sad or whatever, and that makes all the difference in the world. You can put professionals around these folks that we have, but what they really need is just a bunch of people that care and are willing to stand up for them and encourage them as they have successes.
And I've met a lot of your coworkers there, and you said they're paid staff, but you know what? The passion they have what they give is way beyond any dollars we could give them, and certainly the volunteers are incredible. And our community in general, Manitoba in general, is a giving community, but to me, I'm always amazed by when I talk to people and see what people do, give of their time, talent, money, whatever it may be.
Yeah, and we had one of our guys just finished, I think he's 35 years old, just finished his grade 12. Went back and got his GED, and now he's looking at what other education he's gonna work forward on. Got through a long history of addictions, and every time he'd get a new 30-day pen, he would come and show me, and it's nice to do well yourself, but it's nice to know that people appreciate what you've done, and be able to celebrate your successes together.
Absolutely. We'll be right back with Floyd Perras after we take this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. I'm really excited to announce that Peak of the Market has a mobile recipe app. It is available free through Apple, Android, or BlackBerry World app stores or via peakmarket.com. It works on your phone, including the new iPhone 6, and your iPad. All you have to do is go to any of these app stores or our website and search for Peak Recipes, and you can get it there free. It has over 4,000 recipes at your fingertips, and you can create a shopping list from the recipe. You can add to the shopping list other items you might need, like toothpaste or whatever it might be. And the neat thing, for every person who downloads the free Peak Recipe app by the end of October, Peak the Market Growers will donate 20 pounds of fresh vegetables, up to 1 million pounds, to the Winnipeg Harvest Food Bank. So this is going to help a lot of people. So to date, we've had 1,400 downloads. So that's about 28,000 pounds, if I do the math right in my head. And that's a great start. But we want to get towards that 1 million pounds. So we're very excited by our new mobile recipe app. So please download it. It's absolutely free, and give it a try. And at the same time, you'll be helping out those less fortunate ourselves through Winnipeg Harvest. We're back with Floyd Perras, Executive Director of Siloam Mission. So have you downloaded our app yet?
I was just going to pull it out of my pocket and start, but
okay, don't call yet.
Maybe I should wait to the end of the show.
Yeah, download. It's free. And
20 pounds.
20 pounds per, and we're hoping
wow.
People all over the world can download this free app, get some free recipes. If you don't like it, you can delete it. But I mean, I think they're going to like it. But we want to help out those less fortunate, so it's kind of a neat promotion, I think.
Go on our Facebook page there. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier about a big development that's coming up, and we didn't really touch about that. But what's that about?
Well, we've been working for several years on housing. We talk about Vision 500 homes, 500 jobs. And so we've been developing our property down on 300 Princess. We've bought all of our properties now. We own probably 80% of a full block now. We've got our zoning change. We've got a bunch of that stuff that's going through the motions there. Mm-hmm. But the exciting piece is right now we have as many as 500 coming for meals. For any one meal, our dining room is 130 seats. So you remember last winter, not a friendly winter.
No.
There were many times there was 300 to 400 people standing outside waiting for a meal, and 3 times a day. That's just not an acceptable situation in our country and in any country. So we've also developed a new frontline services center will be on the back of the property. That will at least double the size of the dining room. I'm actually working with our architect next Monday to maybe add even some more to get us up to maybe 350 seats in there, because the numbers continue to grow. We'll continue with our case management services and our employment programs. It'll actually help extend a bit of the stuff inside the health center. We'll add some day beds and some shower for cleaning and another exam room, and very, very excited about it. We're hoping to go into the ground next spring. The city has committed $4 million towards the project, which is great. Mm-hmm. So we have been working with our major donors to kind of see where they're going to fit in there. So hopefully by the spring we'll be able to have enough ready so that we can go in the ground and go ahead. So very, very exciting. Probably will add about 100,000 square feet altogether into the facility, but the Frontline Services Center will basically be double the size of our current main floor of our facility. We will keep that kitchen, and it'll become the dining room for the new housing.
Oh, okay.
So it was just renovated a year ago, and so 160 will eat there, and then the rest of the community will eat in our new dining room. So very big project, but
huge project. Now, did you say 500 jobs you were looking for, 500 homes?
That's our vision. We have 85 homes, and this will be 160 units of housing, so that's 245. So that'd be close to halfway there. But the 10-year plan has been done by the community task force, and they would like to see 300 units in the next 2 or 3 years. This could provide half of that, and very, very excited. And we've had incredible support from everyone that we've shown the plans to, and we have an upcoming gala in November that we would talk about it again if people wanted to come and see that the architects have these fly-throughs so you can see what it looks like inside.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, really looking forward to it. And it's a lot of what I'm doing these days is trying to get that thing moving forward, so that we have probably a couple winters before that people will have to go through yet to get there. But really hoping that it's going to change lives for thousands of people.
And I think all of us can relate to how tough last winter was. And
Yes.
I mean, I'm fortunate enough we have indoor parking, right? I mean, you think about those things, but standing on the street, waiting for a meal, living on the street, whether it's overnight or during the day. I know many of them got shelters at night, but it's unimaginable. This is a great project. And what I think is needed about it is that obviously, you're doing all the day-to-day things, but you're looking forward. How can you improve things? And obviously, it takes a lot of people to contribute and chip in to do that.
Yeah, and we have the new Human Rights Museum, and as a city, I think that will change who we are. And it would be great if Manitoba and Winnipeg becomes the best practice for caring for people and making sure that everyone's taken care of.
I agree.
Through Siloam Mission or all the other great organization as well.
We'll be right back with Floyd Perras, Executive Director of Siloam Mission, after we take this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Please join me next Saturday when my guest will be Craig Evans, Chief Executive Officer of Granny's Poultry Cooperative. Just in time for Thanksgiving, Craig is going to tell us about Granny's, what's new there. My guest today has been Floyd Perras, Executive Director of Siloam Mission. I don't know if I want to say it's been fun talking to you about these issues, but it's been great getting talking about these issues and the great things that's Siloam. It has been fun, but I don't want to diminish the issues that are important to solve.
Well, and I certainly appreciate the time again and the generosity of Peak of the Market and in support of what we do and of the community and especially in the issues of poverty.
Oh, thank you very much. If people want to go to the gala, that you have a website. What's the website?
Yeah, go to Siloam.ca, Siloam.ca.
Great. Thank you, Floyd, for being on Food and Friends.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Take care, and please don't forget to eat your veggies.